speaker number 1, DTM Jordan Camenker.
How many of you were pleased to hear finally something about Daniel Day Wallace's growing up, his childhood at Serious Speech?
Yes.
One,
a lot.
he did a lot of things beautifully. He had some good gestures, rolling up the windows. I got that. We had some body language when he leaned in to convey to us his disgust with being around tobacco products. He has nothing to do with them anymore. He had great eye contact. I've always tried to use tact with icons as well. Why do we listen? That's take a moment or two, I suppose. Why do we listen to a speech? We listen because we're hoping to learn something about the person who's delivering, maybe a topic that they're offering. And we were hoping to learn a bit about Daniel Day Wallace. He grew up in a rolling gas chamber. I understand that, so did I. No, I'm not rolling down the windows, it's cold outside. There was humor, of course. We had Mama, I'm from the South, Shtick, who drives a stick. We had the bingo with B9. He had composure. When the Toastmaster razzed him because of the way he delivered his introduction, he was unflappable. Very good. You need that as a professional speaker. There are opportunities for improvement. Use the introduction to tell us where you're going and why we should be listening to you and how to help you. I think you could have done better with that. Start the speech with something engaging. Ask the audience a question. How many of you had to grow up in a rolling gas chamber or something like that, or fell in love with your car? You told us this was a serious speech in the comedy pathway. That does not exist. You might simply have said, I'm going off manual, I'm going outside the pathways, but here's what I want you to evaluate me with. Lectern mechanics. Do not do this. Rather, it just takes time, and it's intrusive. Just slide them or use cards. Vocal variety. Give us your mother's voice. I'm sorry, honey, there's no money. It's either the Bug or Pat and Jerry. We never found out why Frank was mentioned one time and nothing after that. So give us next time, Dan, a true serious speech. Shakespeare lets you weave humor into it, but one serious speech, start to finish.
My favorite part was I got hit by a car. That was no joke. Today's speaker number 2 is our EVP, Toastmaster Lillian Cattleman, and stepping in to evaluate her is Toastmaster Nate Bowe. Hey.
I feel like it's Blake 2.0. I don't know if you know, he's a little different today, and it's kind of fun to watch, so just keep an eye on him. Lillian's speech had some things in there. I don't know if you caught them. Hadiyayat, Chulam, Debakmum. You guys hear that? Nobody heard that?
Yeah, no.
Hadiyayat. Say it, everybody. Hadiyayat. It's an acronym. You didn't hear it. It's how do you improve yourself through Toastmasters? I want you to have that burned in your brain all weekend. How do you improve yourself through Toastmasters? That was the beginning of her speech, and that was the purpose, and I thought it was very good. In your speech, you also said Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Julam, that's my acronym for that. So it's not Chinese, but it's in the brain now. It's in there. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Obviously, I'm not afraid to come up here and make mistakes. Your speech had everything going for it. You had clarity. You had vocal variety. You had eye contact. Your gestures were good. Audience awareness was pretty good. Comfort level, you seem comfortable up here. And I would say the topic was interesting. So your strong suits in that group of things that I'm supposed to evaluate you Absolutely, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, comfort level. Things you'd want to work on always is obviously clarity. We know that English isn't your first language, but if I rewind the hands of time, I can think of this past year where some people were probably worried to do an evaluation for Lillian. I don't think anyone can say that today. I'm happy to come up here and do it because I understood everything you said. You are so clear now, and I thought the points were very well made. You asked me to look for pronunciation. I thought your pronunciation was much improved. Your grammar was great. You also asked me to look at the content. I thought the content was good. I took a picture of your speech just so I could read it a couple of times before coming up here. And then your gestures are good. Again, it's a strong suit of yours. So you ended with a quote, "Where there is no road, a new road can be formed when more and more people step on it." Thank you. Howdy-ya!
I was concerned for a moment. I thought he was saying, "Howdy, idiot." And I thought, how rude. How rude. Speaker number 3 is the man who's giving himself the Best Speaker Trophy back there, Carson Schaefer. Here to evaluate him at the ready red light, is Toastmaster, past president, and past area governor, the handsome one, Allex McGriff.
Carson Schaefer. DTM. He's a DTM for a reason. One thing I liked about Carson is his title. Well, not his title, but the subject of his speech was based on internet algorithms. Now, a lot of people in here, I'm pretty sure you've seen some type of advertisement online. But one thing that Carson did was, first off, he was dressed up, suit and tie. Anytime you're giving a speech, you want to wear a suit and tie. I'm not wearing a tie because I'm not giving a speech. He was already ready on the side of the lecture, smiling. One thing I learned when I first joined Toastmasters, injected great jokes in his intro to set the tone of his speech. All great things to set up a good speech. Carson, everybody knows Carson. He has great delivery, awesome storytelling abilities. My gosh, I look up to you in so many ways. When you do your speeches, I try to take little tidbits. Now, your goal was not to seem angry. And I think you excelled at it. I don't think you seemed angry while you was delivering your speech. Because one thing you did do that I noticed, you didn't point your finger. And you never want to point your finger at the audience. You did this. So it's actually almost like you're telling, directing, one of those things. Speech was very informative. Very, very informative. And based on and I'll say one thing you could have worked on. Based on your body movement up here, it seemed like you needed more space. And how do you get more space? Speak in front of the lectern.
But you gotta memorize it.
You gotta do that too. And also, because your speech was a serious speech, I felt like to get through to the audience, you would have had to take us on an emotional roller coaster, which means inject some humor in your example. Like that last example you gave about cutting salaries 2/3, and Jordan raised his hand, that made us all laugh, and it kind of got through to us more. So, only thing I'll say is inject more humor in your examples, and great job.
You all right? Another one? Good. Speaker number 4 today was Toastmaster Carlos Benitez, the messy one himself. Evaluating his presentation, we have one of 2 Toastmasters who have been in this club longer than I have. Please welcome to the lectern, good friend and Toastmaster, Ty Patten.
Carlos Benitez gave the best speech I've ever seen him give. Who would agree with that? Carlos, you did a fine job. I was a little concerned when I first came in because Carlos told me that he wasn't going to be all that comfortable because he's gonna be speaking with his notes, and he was gonna have to read a lot of it. I gotta tell you, I didn't see a lot of that. Yes, you used your notes, as we all do, there's no doubt about that. But you spoke with sincerity. You spoke from your heart. That's what we want people to do. You know, Pastor Joel Hunter used to say, we respect people for their successes, but we connect with them with their failures. We've all failed at something. Some of us have failed a little bit more than others. You did a great job this morning. It said and this is how he also started off, he printed out his evaluation from Pathways. It says the purpose statement is the purpose of this speech is defined by the member. He defined it. He wrote it. And it came from his heart. He conveyed sincerity. He used many examples. Kintsugi. I gotta tell you what, that adds to all of our lives. When we can take those broken pieces and we mend them back together, it makes us stronger. It gives us a testimony by which we can help other people. You had voice inflection. Like I say, you had the best speech I've seen you give in here. Minor changes, yeah, you would want to be prepared before you go back up here and you grab your book, and you may want to not hold on to the lectern quite as much, and that's going to give you the opportunity to use your hand gestures a bit more. But those are minor things. What you did is you spoke from your heart. The only other thing that I would suggest, possibly coming out front, so you can connect better with your audience. Fine speech, sir. Thank you.